It's not just about the name or the fact that people are already buying the wrong console or the whole pre order experience in general. What about the games? What exactly does optimized for Xbox Series X even mean? And what about the Series S? The Series S is less powerful than the One X, but will play next gen games? Wait, what even are the next gen games? Can I play these things wherever? What about the consoles we already own? With the X being discontinued and the S still being out there, will the other X and S be playing the same games? Or will we get one version on the S's and a different version on just one of the X's? Yeah, Microsoft already isn't making this easy for us, but we're going to break it down and try to make it as simple to understand as possible for both of us. Oh, this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Butts. Hey, what are your hobbies? You like doodling? Maybe you like amateur photography? Maybe you want to start your own YouTube channel? Well, instead of watching videos like this, why don't you go take a class that'll help sharpen that skill? For less than $10 a month, you can learn something entirely new or sharpen that skill you've been doing for funsies and turn it into a real professional tool. They have courses ranging from graphic design, animation, creative writing, film and video, music, and even marketing. Like, for example, Filmmaking from Home by Penny Lane. Even if you just want to be a YouTuber, storytelling in video is so important. And you can just try it for yourself and see how you like it. For a limited time, people who click the link in the description below will get a free trial to Skillshare's premium membership. So go on over there and start sharpening that skill you've been trying to learn. And I'm gonna go finish editing this really awesome video. Butts. Let's get this out of the way first so we're all on the same page. Current generation, Xbox One S and Xbox One X. Next generation, Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X. Microsoft already isn't making this easy for us, but this is probably the simplest thing to understand here. The Xbox Series S is their new console that they announced just 2 weeks ago by accident. Everybody already heard the rumors of a smaller, less powerful next-generation Xbox codenamed Lockhart. Hard proof of this leaked late into the night on September 7th, forcing Microsoft's hand on September 8th. It was supposed to be announced a week later, just 1 week before pre-orders would have been available. A new console being announced just 1 week before pre-orders are available is mind-blowing. Despite this, the pre-order process was a hot mess and all the consoles sold out like crazy. It took me about an hour to pre-order both consoles. I had a tab opened up for basically every major online retailer. Best Buy just straight up didn't have any consoles available like they were supposed to at 11 a.m. Target and Amazon were both completely broken. GameStop took me about 20 minutes to actually check out with the Xbox Series S. But when I tried to add the Series X to my cart, it was too late and they were sold out of that. But then eventually, Xbox.com started working and I got a Series X from there an hour after pre-orders launched. PlayStation 5 pre-orders were a hot mess because Sony said that pre-orders would start the next day, and then every major online retailer decided, nah, we'll just do it whenever we want. But Xbox pre-orders were a hot mess for the opposite reason. They were supposed to happen at one time, and then they were delayed by all the retailers. And I shouldn't have to say anything, but whenever I mention that I got both consoles, people inevitably ask me why. There's no reason to get a Series X and a Series S. I'm only doing it because I'm gonna make videos on both consoles. You only need one of them. There's no benefit to having both. This whole pre-order process wasn't just a show because consoles weren't available to everybody who wanted them. They were also a show because sales of the Xbox One X jumped up by 747% on Amazon, a console that Microsoft discontinued in order to pave the way for the next generation. A console that was selling on Amazon for upwards of $600. It is nowhere near worth that much money. It's also $100 more than the Xbox Series X is going to cost. This mistake was probably caused by the similar names, but also because the Xbox One X comes up right underneath the Xbox Series X in the Amazon search. Once you know the differences, it's pretty easy to say that this is a stupid mistake to make, but remember that not everybody watches tech breakdowns on YouTube before they purchase something. But it's also possible that people bought the Xbox One X with the thought that it could play the same games as the Series X. Now, this is harder to fault people for. It's enough to be confusing for people who do spend their time watching tech breakdowns on YouTube. Hell, it's enough to be confusing for people who make them. Back in January, Microsoft's head of marketing, Matt Booty, said, as our content comes out over the next year, 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will play up and down that family of devices. We want to make sure that if someone invests in Xbox between now and Series X, that they feel that they made a good investment and that we're committed to them with the content. That makes it sound like you can just get any Xbox console and play those games anywhere. They've since walked back those statements, but it took them a really long time to dismiss that. On May 6th, Microsoft unveiled their new optimized for Xbox Series X emblem for game cases. This is intended to let you know full well if a game is for your next-gen console. However, it just adds to the confusion. Does optimized mean it'll still play on older consoles, just not as well? They've revised their messaging on their site to include the S, but never changed the emblem or the news articles specifically explaining what that emblem means. Now, there are outlets running articles saying that the Series S will run the Xbox One S version of some games. This is technically true, but also misleading. And not misleading at the fault of these news outlets, but misleading because Microsoft is just making their ecosystem so goddamn confusing. I'm going to try to explain this as simply as I can. Both the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S will be playing next-gen games. Some games will be playable across generations, no matter what version you get. These will have the Smart Delivery logo on them. There are currently 49 games that are optimized for Xbox Series X/S listed on this page on Xbox.com. This means that you'll benefit from enhancements on the next-gen hardware, like higher resolutions and faster frame rates. Of these 49 games, I could only find 10 that have no sign of availability on Xbox One. Most of those games are a year out or more. The Xbox Series S is only capable of 1440p at 120 frames per second. Because of this, if you're going to play an Xbox One game on the Series S, you will be playing the Xbox One S version of that game and not the more optimized Xbox One X version. This feels like unnecessary information that should concern no one, but it did confuse a lot of people into thinking that the Xbox Series S was only going to play last-gen versions of games. And it didn't help that those news articles had really scary-looking headlines. I think it's great that Microsoft announced a cheaper, less powerful console. It lowers the barrier to entry for the next generation by a lot. I just don't know what this means for this generation way down the line. I see the Series S as a Game Pass and Xbox game streaming console. If a game way down the line requires that extra power and you have a Game Pass Ultimate subscription, just stream it. Will Microsoft remove the S from game cases if it does require that extra power? I shouldn't have to be making assumptions here. It's kind of ridiculous that Microsoft doesn't have the messaging down well enough to just say, there will be games that are only available on the next generation, and this is how you can tell. Also, it seems like Microsoft is specifically avoiding certain messaging like all next generation games will be available on the Series X and Series S. Buried in their article announcing the Xbox Series S, Microsoft said games built for the next generation will be optimized for both Xbox Series X and Series S. That should be at the top in big, bold letters, and insinuates that down the line, no matter how technologically advanced the games are, they will still be playable on the S. The Xbox One X was discontinued in order to quell some of the confusion, apparently to no avail. The Xbox One X is somewhere in between the Series S and Series X in terms of power, so it should be able to play some of these next-gen games. The only problem would be the hard drive speed, which is much faster on the next generation. So it does make sense that they took this off of store shelves so that things like this don't happen this holiday season. So, if you want to get one of these next-gen Xboxes, you want to make sure you see the word Series in the title. If you want to make sure your game is playable on the next generation, you want to look at the game case in the top left corner and see what console it says it's for. You could also look for the optimized for Xbox Series X/S emblem, but we haven't seen what that looks like with the S included. The worst thing that you can do is blindly assume that your game will work just fine, especially if it's a third-party title. And I mean, honestly, good luck finding one of these consoles this year anyway. What do you guys think about the next generation Xboxes? Are you just gonna go with a PlayStation because this is all too much? I'm excited for this next generation. I think things are gonna be really interesting. Microsoft going all service-based, that seems really cool that they have all of these publishers down for their streaming service. And they just basically bought up everybody. Microsoft also has the cheaper console, but PlayStation just has the messaging down. PlayStation 5, here it is. These are the games. Take it or leave it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Add me on Twitter, any and all this other social media garbage. And also, thank you to Skillshare for helping support this video. You can check them out in the description. Also, that also helps support us. We got new videos here all the time. Still working out the schedule. I'm trying to do Thursdays, but who knows? And we got streams over on twitch.tv/wolfden. Go put notifications on over there so you know when I go live. I'm trying to play through Mario Sunshine. I'm not having a great time. That's why the watermelon's there. Oh my god. Oh my god. But of course, the most important thing that you can do to help support us is just subscribe to the channel. That's it. Turn on those notifications so you know when there's new videos, and make sure you're subscribed and not relying on YouTube's suggested feed to feed you these videos, because you're probably not watching an Xbox video from me, because I'm normally the Nintendo guy. But to help, you could also share this video with a friend who's maybe interested in these new consoles and wants to figure out what games they can even play for. Thank you very much. Have a good week.